Good morning and welcome to a very sunny Sheffield. This is the La Sportiva British Bouldering Championships, and I am joined in the studio today by all-rounder Robbie Phillips and the legend that is the man that invented the deep flag, Mr. Neil Gresham. Welcome, guys.
Thanks, Gaz. Yeah, pretty excited about being here.
Yeah,
cool.
Same, man. Cheers.
Well, it's been a long time since we've seen you in this kind of arena, Robbie.
It's been a few years since I last competed, a national competitor. I think 10 years since last in a British Bouldering Championships.
Be careful there, you're showing your age.
What have you been doing?
And Neil, I mean, the level of British climbing now, the youth coming through, it's absolutely amazing to see. It just gets better and better every year.
Oh, there's just been this huge explosion. I think mainly thanks to the development of climbing walls. I mean, we've got more British competitors getting into semis now than we've ever seen before. We've got twice world champion Shauna Coxey, speaks for herself, first British female world champion. We've got the para athletes, we've got several para world champions at the moment, and then we've got youngsters like Holly Tootle just going through and flashing all the qualifying problems, like completely on fire. So it's pretty impressive stuff.
Well, for sure. I think Holly Tootle's performance yesterday really did show the level of these younger climbers coming through today. Holly then. I mean,
I know.
flashing all the boulders, where's that come from?
I know. I mean, you'd expect that they would just maybe drop one or two or have a couple of goes, you know, just to get into the feel of it. But just to come straight out and do them all is a sign that you're operating at a much higher level, isn't it?
And obviously you mentioned before about the level of climbers that we've got here. Obviously we've got Nathan Phillips. Nathan was in the World Championship final last year and finished in 6th place. What a performance.
Consummate professional athlete. Just looks, he's got that level of focus that you so rarely see. I mean, clearly he's got the physical ability and the technical ability as well, but I think what really singles Nathan out is the way he's just so ruthlessly focused in the comps. It's really good to watch him, isn't it? It's super inspiring.
Local girl, Jem Wood, again, yeah. Very strong in the finals. She's done quite a few internationals this last few years and been out some of the Olympic demonstration events and stuff.
Definitely, she's going to be a real crowd pleaser here. I think everyone's going to be really, really behind Jen.
A few tops from her will definitely raise the roof, yeah?
Yeah, no doubt. And then you've got Tara Hayes, back from injury, seems to be on as good form as ever.
Well, she's been out in Switzerland as well. She's been crushing some Fontaines out there. So, yeah, her level is definitely back up again and she's pretty motivated, I think, training hard.
Yeah, for sure. And then you've got Natalie Barry, who, of course, everyone knows is like, you know, coming back from junior comps, but now making a real impression in senior comps.
Well, I think for me personally, Jim Pope and maybe Natalie Barry for the title, that would be amazing. I don't think we'll see many crimps here today, though, for Aidan. We'll see. The guys haven't come out, obviously, and seen these boulders yet, so it will all be on site. And we're going to start on the left-hand side of the wall with the ladies on the first boulder and the men on the second. So on to the next set of qualifiers. We've got Nathan Whaley, young guy. He's always been getting stronger and stronger. Last year, he was very close to making the semis and finals. Hopefully, we'll see some really good performance from him today.
British climber. Seems to have got a bit of a Australian accent living over in the States.
Yeah, I had a chat with Alex earlier on. He's taking a year out now. Obviously, we've got the old guard in there as well. Dave Barron's 17th BBC for him. Oh, amazing to see.
And the young lad Max Hill is absolutely powerhouse of a climber.
Really two ends of the spectrum there, eh? On to the ladies' start list then. We're starting off with Alice Thompson. She's going to kick the qualification off and semi-final off, and Natalie Barry will follow her up. Obviously, Natalie is back into the scene. She started competing again last year with the BBC here, and she's back again for the La Sportiva British Bouldering Championship, so it'll be good to see Natalie put in a really good result Obviously, we've also got further down the line, we've got some of the younger climbers here. We've got Pippa Watkins. Imogen Horrocks has been competing for quite a long time. We're good to see Imogen put in a strong result. I mean, she's been practicing on the Ninja Warrior in the last few years, so maybe some of the modern style of bouldering here will actually work quite well for Imogen. We shall see. We've got, again, another young climber that's come through the ranks and now into the seniors. Eugenie Lee's been competing for a long time. She's been competing on Team GB. Another local now. She's studying in Sheffield. That's Gwyneth Utley. And as Robbie mentioned earlier on, Tara Hayes. Tara is back from injury, so it's fantastic to see her. Another local girl who will definitely raise the roof if she gets a few tops. That is Jennifer Wood. Rosalind Fruitney over from Bristol side. She has climbed some very hard routes recently. She's climbed 8C down in Bristol, which is amazing. And obviously Holly Tootle, top of the qualification, who we mentioned earlier on. What a performance from her. Younger climber coming through all the way through from the juniors into the seniors, and she is sitting pretty at the top of the rankings at the moment. We've got a few more minutes before we kick off with the climbers. It's good to see Percy Bishton in the house on the microphone, entertaining the locals. We're starting to fill up in the arena as well. You can see there the view. We've got the deck chairs out. The sun is shining. Thankfully, the wall itself is actually inside a tented arena, so the wall is in the shade. I think if we had the sun on some of these boulders, this would be really, really hard work. And like I said, the sun can play a really big role in these sorts of competitions. Obviously, we use very different materials with the holds nowadays. Some of them are polyurethane and some of them are fiberglass. And the polyurethane seems to be a little bit funny when they start to get hot.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it can get really sweaty up there in those holds. Very bad friction. Depends, like, really the temperature on the wall at the time. I mean, what are you thinking, Gaz, right now?
I think it's actually quite cool on the climbing arena. Obviously, sitting out in those deck chairs.
Yeah,
you need to put your sun cream on.
Yeah, I was feeling that in the sun actually, just out there. I was getting burnt actually. My Scottish skin was not doing well out there.
Well, that's it. Now we're in the studio and we're quite comfortable. We've got somebody to come and bring some drinks as well, so it's not a problem.
Very nice and cool in here.
But yeah, I mean, after the qualifiers yesterday, the route setting team had already done quite a stunning job. They got quite a good split down through those rankings.
Yeah,
that's really good to see. And obviously they've been hard at work over the last few days creating this set of semi-final boulders. Obviously we've got 4 semi-final boulders for the men and 4 for the women, and then we've got the finals this afternoon as well, where they compete on another 4 boulders for the men and 4 boulders for the women again.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting to see in the women's category actually the difference between the rankings of top 9. The top 9 all did they all topped every boulder prob. It was between just attempts, like 1 attempt separating the top 2 positions, 2 attempt separating positions after that. It was really quite interesting.
Yeah, so obviously the way that we score this event, it's first off we score the tops, and then we score the zones. That is usually marked on these boulders with a red stripe, and then we score the tops attempts, and then we score the zone attempts, and that will give us our ranking. And like we said before, Holly Tootle in first place coming into this semi-final. She will be climbing last. They climb in reverse order. She did 5, 5, 5 and 5. She didn't fall off yet.
And that's quite interesting actually how that changed from yesterday, because actually the qualifiers, the start order was based on how well they did in last year's competition, last year's British Bouldering Championships. So the best climbers went first, benefiting from the holds being in almost a better state. Whereas today, it's the flip, isn't it? It's the sort of strongest competitors are actually going last, and the climbers who qualified lower down the ranking are going up first.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can see the first 2 climbers that are out on the mats now as we speak. We've got Jake Collins on the right and Alice Thompson on the left hand side. Jake is just getting himself chalked up, ready to try this boulder. Alice has already had a few attempts on that left side. It's quite an interesting boulder. 2 very varied climbs at the moment. The left hand side of the ladies is a pushing sort of hands up in the air, pushing down into the feet, and then this boulder that Jake's struggling to actually start at the moment is It looks like a jump to this coffin-shaped hold and then somehow try and get on board it.
Looks really difficult just to get established on the wall there. You see those 4 marker points? He has to get his hands on 2 of them and his feet on the other 2 as well to start. And then as soon as he gets both his hands and both his feet on, that's him officially started. So every time he does that, that counts as an attempt.
So Jake back on again. Still struggling to work out how to pull on. I think he's managed to pull on his first attempt. Bit of a wheel spin there.
Jake is 17 years old, so he's definitely one of the younger competitors in the semi-finals men's.
Alice back on again. You can see this pushing up. She looks like she might be a little more, might suit the taller girls this a little bit. Struggling to get some force into that palm. That's a little bit better from Alice. A bit of progression. You can see the zone hold out to the right hand side in maybe 2 more moves. That's where she's heading first. And in order to get the zone, she needs to take it in control. It's not just about touching it, she needs to hold it in control. So
Alice is from New Zealand. She's 25 years old, and this is her 2nd year in the British Bouldering Championships.
Nice work from Alice now. That's the zone for Alice. Still a long way to go. You can see the stripe for the finishing hold in the middle of the screen.
Looks like she's trying to crimp the top of that volume. There's not much there. She's looking good.
One hand on the top.
Yes.
Good start from Alice. She'll be happy with that. That'll settle her nerves a little bit. A few falls, and then still made it through to the top of the boulder. Back with Jake. Jake's still puzzling about this first start. Jake's actually quite a tall climber. So I can imagine this might be a little bit more of a challenge for him to get established on the wall to begin with. We also know the setter of this boulder. That was Max Ayrton that created this little monster. So Max is quite a small climber, very different to Jake, who's attempting the boulder at the moment.
That's the interesting thing about climbing is like everyone's got different body shapes, so different types of problems suit different people. You can be shorter and you can have a problem suit you better, or taller.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think obviously if Jake manages to actually get established on the start hold, the jump, which I think is what it is, to the coffin hold, will be a little bit easier for him because he is taller.
And he's only got 8 seconds left, so it's going to be really hard pressed for him to finish this boulder problem now. I think that's him giving up now.
That's it. The clock runs down. We hear the buzzer, and it's the next 2 climbers out on the mat. It's the comeback couple, I guess. Yeah. Natalie Barry and Jonathan Partridge.
These are 2 climbers I'm really excited to see. Jonathan Partridge, the nicest guy in climbing, recently been out in the USA, climbing in Colorado and California. He's 36 years old. Last year was his big comeback, and he's going for a 2nd year here.
Yeah, he's lifted a few titles in his time as Jonathan. I know he's been training hard down in London. He's been competing at, doing a tour of the competition walls. We've got some very good competition walls in different climbing walls in London. So he's been doing the tour, getting his eye in. Quite a few of the setters that are setting this weekend also set down there as well. So, you know, it should be quite versed in some of the styles. But the setters always manage to pull out a few curve balls and throw them something different.
Jonathan's also a very tall climber, so I think the start, it'd be interesting to see him how he tackles this.
Well, has he actually been given a start yet?
I don't think he's actually touched his...
He's not touched all 4 points. He managed to get on, but he has to touch all 4 points with his 4 limbs in any order. So he theoretically could touch the bottom 2 with his hands and the top 2 with his feet. And I don't think that is the method on this boulder.
He's really struggling there. And Nat is still struggling as well. Natalie Barry on the left-hand side, still struggling to get established on that first boulder problem.
Well, we've already seen that first one climbed, so we know it's possible. Alice Thompson made reasonable work on that. Natalie has already had 7 attempts on the start. 8 attempts now. It's going up. But, I mean, attempts can be, you think they can be very important, but obviously if you actually do get to the top of the block, that can be even more important when it comes later on. John Partridge now making very good progress on his first block.
Definitely established now on the problem. He just has to make a big move here to get established on this mantle shelf volume. Come on, John. Oh, he didn't quite get the power through his legs to get the distance on that hold.
That was a good attempt though. Oh, Natalie's managed to get established now, which is great. She started the boulder. She needs to do this press out into that next volume, which is also a upside down volume, not so much on top of it, it's more pushing into it. See, she's pushing on the side. 2 hands now. When we saw Alice get to this point, she did actually top the boulder, so it's looking quite good for Natalie. A little bit more technical this next section for her, so maybe it'll suit her a little bit better. You know Natalie well over the years, don't you?
Yeah, Nat actually has 8 British titles to her name, so she is not somebody without experience, but over the last 2 years she's definitely been focusing more on the bouldering competitions, and prior to this it was definitely she was much more of a lead climber, so it's good to see her changing up for a bit.
Yeah, well, she took a European lead title.
That's Nat topping the problem.
And it's amazing to see her back in the sport after so many years of actually competing and with motivation to perform as well.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that if you've been competing since you were very, very young, you know, it can be hard just to keep it going.
Back to the old dog, John Partridge.
Ah, getting a bit frustrated there with that move.
It's interesting whether you pull on front on. Jake was trying to pull on from the left hand side. John's going a bit more front on, but then it just seems like super hard leg press, not just to stand up on that leg, but he's also then got to go some distance to jump to the next hold.
It looks like if you can get established in that position, the power you need from your legs would be significant to be able to get that dynamic, get that momentum to reach the next handhold.
Well, we're down in the last minute for John, so let's see what he does. Pauses a moment to take a breath. Just to chalk off his hands. That's how he starts in on the right hand side. A little bit of a mantle there, pushing down on the hands first. And moves the foot. I think that's probably going to be the end of John's attempt.
He's got 20 seconds left. Do you think he can do another attempt there? He's thinking about it. No. He's getting his little bit of toe.
Always smiling as well. A little wry smile from John there. So he will take a seat and he will sit out this next rotation.
Next up on the stage, we've got Robin Casey in the women's and Oren Colley in the men's.
Now Oren's been also competing for quite a long time. He's still quite young.
Yep.
But he's got a lot of experience behind him now. He's a good guy to watch, I think, sometimes in the competitions. He's quite an emotional kind of guy.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's calm, cool and collected, and sometimes he sort of explodes. So maybe this is the boulder for him. Explode up to that next volume, we shall see.
I was chatting to him in isolation and he said that qualifiers didn't go as well as he'd hoped. He was struggling to just keep his nerves together, I think, and he was feeling good for the semis, but yeah, just struggling a little bit with the nerves. He hasn't done a British Championship since, well, last year, and I think he's not been competing internationally either. Yeah,
not competing too much. So obviously this is our first view of the second boulder there. Alice Thompson just falling off after the zone hold. Good progress for her at the start. Not seen boulder 2 for the men yet. Jake Collins is eyeing it up. Nick's already had a few goes. Another boulder problem from Max Ayrton, this one. That's an interesting method that way.
Oren's trying to tackle the start of this boulder problem. We saw John Partridge and Jake Collins both really struggling. John managed to get a bit higher, see if Oren can figure it out.
Hard press there for the triceps.
Yep, looks like his triceps are working really hard there. He's not quite getting the power through the legs to make that move. I wonder if there's a secret way to do this problem.
Probably is knowing Max, yeah. Probably being quite flexible in the hips, strong in the triceps. I mean, this is interesting as well because you and I have both been in that isolation zone, and the warm-ups in there, and it's pretty common no matter where you are in the world, what competition, the warm-ups are usually quite poor, warm-up areas. Yeah. And in there, everything is overhanging, and then you come out here, and you've got slab on the left-hand side, and you've got a vertical boulder for your first boulder, and it involves pressing down on the volume, and that's an exercise that you've not been able to do in isolation, so quite a challenge there.
Orange still wrestling with a start. He's managing to get up into that position, but not looking so confident for the next move. Oh, his fingertips are on it.
He looks like he's got the method now for starting that boulder. Casey doing very well on the zone now. One more move. We've not seen anyone fall off this match, so yeah, easy in the bag. Good job there for Robin Casey. Should be happy with that.
Jake Collins on men's problem 2. It's a big dyno which he's managed to stick. Looks like a tricky move. Doesn't look like there's much on this next hole, just a small yellow crimp at the top, which he went for but didn't quite make it.
That's a horrible little corner. That's no real holes in that corner. All pressing and squeezing again. The dyno probably suits somebody like Jake, but the actual top section might suit it if you're a smaller climber and you can wedge yourself in there. Orin back on, very close last go. There he does, he sticks the jump. He's happy with that.
It's the first time we've seen anyone stick this move, so it's going to be good to see if Orin can seal the deal in his last minute and mantle it out to top the boulder problem.
Already got an interesting range of techniques on view for people. We've had the dyno, we've had the pushing up, we've now got the mantle.
Yes.
For Orin, he's got to stand up on this volume.
Excellent.
Finishing hold.
He's happy with that one.
First top there, that's excellent. Took him a little time to get that start dialed, but when he did, he just got great progression on the boulder, just got better and better. Jake back on, he's got that jump dialed. Well, I say that, he's back on the floor again.
And Alice Thompson, she's working on that boulder too. She's not quite been able to make it across yet. She's fallen off again.
That's pretty much time up for those guys. We'll make a rotation. They will go down and take a rest. Back out, Natalie Barry on boulder 2. John Partridge moves on to his second boulder.
And John's a big fan of the dynos, isn't he? And this is definitely a dyno, this move.
He's a reasonably tall climber as well. He's not one of the shortest, so it does, the jumping does suit him quite well. I don't know how good his coordination jumps are, but I know his simple jumps are quite good.
Yeah. Nat's just started on her boulder 2 as well.
Just got on the left side of the screen there, you can see Aidan Dunn starting his semi-final round. That's very close for his first attempt. This looks like it might suit Natalie. It's quite a technical style of climber.
Nat's got very strong fingers. She's a very static climber. She climbed a lot on rock. So this kind of climb probably suits her. She's looking very close. She just needs to make a match, and then one move up and she's got it. Very solid. Yes.
Good top there for Natalie Barry.
You've still got Aidan Dunn falling off that dynamic move to the volume. Not quite managing to make the distance, but he's got plenty of time left. 3 minutes and 15 seconds. That's definitely enough time to get that hold and to do the mantle.
Over on the left side, just seeing Gracie Martin do the first move of that boulder. It's taken her 2 minutes to get there.
I think we've seen pretty much everyone who's made that move has been able to finish the job.
Yeah, it's a weird start that. The competitors have to run and land both feet on the first volume and both hands on the 2 red stripes that she still is wrestling with.
Oh, she didn't quite make that move there.
It took her quite a few goes to do that move. This time I think she'll find it a little bit easier, a little bit of confidence on that kind of move. Aidan Dunn back on his boulder number 1.
Oh, that was very close. Aidan's still got 2.5 minutes left. John Partridge is doing something crazy.
He looks like he's got himself a little bit marooned. He's got to try and get back now from these large red volumes hanging on the end of that fin. He's got to get back to this hold. Done that, he's got the crimp. Now he's got to sort his feet out and unwrap himself from this combination. Now he's into the holdless groove. Needs to get the zone first. That is the zone. We've already seen Jake up in this position before. Trying to use every trick in the book with the legs here. There's not much for the hands.
His shoulders must be screaming right about now. That left shoulder especially.
He should start competing in the roots. He's been on this for a good couple of minutes now.
I think this attempt is going to take a lot from him, so he's probably going to want to make the most of it.
Big guy, again, big guy makes it a little bit easier on that jump. Didn't quite jump to the right holds, I think, but then he did struggle in that corner. Aidan Dunn back on in his first boulder in this La Sportiva British Boulder Championships here in Sheffield.
And Gracie Martin back on boulder 1. She's almost got that move. She's on this really bad sloper. She just needs to rock over and get that zone. When she has that zone, I think she'll be in with a good shout to top the boulder.
Looking good now from Gracie.
Inches away. She's got 18 seconds left on the clock, so not a ton of time. She's going to have to move very quickly if she wants to stand a chance of topping this. Oh, she almost had it there. Fingers were just around the edge and then her foot blew.
I mean, that goes to show how hard that boulder is actually for boulder number 1. Gracie is a very good climber. She's competed for Team BG as well, and she's also a very experienced route setter. So, you know, these boulders are not going to be easy. They've got to whittle down these 20 climbers to the finalists for this evening's final. We're going to be here this evening commentating again. Now we're out with 2 new climbers.
That's Sam Butterworth on men's boulder 1.
Mariki Booth, apologies if the pronunciation is slightly incorrect there.
This boulder 1 in the men's is causing a lot of problems. I'm really interested to see how different climbers adapt to this confusing set of holds. Oh, he's gone for a high left foot. Oh,
one-handed catch, brilliant.
That's the first flash of that move that we've seen. He just needs to finish off the mantle and stand up, and then he's got a top, and that's a flash. That's first go, which is as good as it gets, really.
Yeah, it's a good start for him.
He's gone for a left heel rock over, which seems to be working for him really well, and he's done it. It's a very impressive flash from Sam Butterworth there.
Robin on her second boulder. We saw Natalie top this block before. That was a little bit of a foot slip there. Quite a small foothold she's on. This is our first view of boulder number 3.
That's Alice Thompson on boulder 3.
This is classic fiberglass volume wrestling. Those big blue volumes, quite slopey. Definitely not in cut. They look big, but they're not very good holds.
Wow, that was an impressive catch by Oren Colley there.
Very different technique to John Partridge. Looks a lot more solid in this corner now as well. He's reached the hold now on top of this second yellow volume. He's already got the zone. One more move to the top.
Yes.
Still got some work to do. Very, very good work there from Oren Colley. He will be a happy chap now. Top 2 boulders. As you can see, he's gone straight to the top of the leaderboard on the left-hand side of the screen. Colley, number 1. Keep him happy for a while.
Still see Alice Thompson wrestling with the blue volumes on the right there. She's giving the holds a brush, because those are big slopers and they're going to get chalked up the more climbers they get on it. So it's going to make it harder to gain any friction on the slopiness of those holes.
One of the interesting things for you less experienced climbers out there, or even non-climbers that are watching, is the materials that we use in these holds really do vary quite a lot. We have polyurethane for some holds, we have fiberglass for some holds, and we have wood for some holds. And those materials perform in different ways, and the grain on those materials is always very different as well. So those blue volumes on the right hand side compared to the blue volumes on the left hand side are very different textures. They're very fine grained on the right hand side, and the left hand side are a lot more grippy, a lot more friction.
On the right there, we're seeing the first attempts on boulder 3, is it?
Boulder 3,
yeah.
And there, yeah. Jake Collins, we saw just struggling to start that boulder.
Those are the dual texture holes, aren't they?
Yeah, dual texture with wood. Really quite a nice, very artistic type of hold.
Yeah, very aesthetic.
Yeah.
But very difficult to climb on as well. The wood is very slippy. So they've got like a friction section which is in dark, and then like the wood grey, and it's sort of polished, isn't it?
Yeah, it's varnished as well, so just to make it doubly horrific.
Jake's looking good here. That's a good catch. He's got the zone. He just needs to keep it together now for the top out. That crossover move looks big, and he didn't quite make the reach there. Very shouldery move, very dynamic.
Yeah, it looks like a big crossover to not a very good volume. When I had a look earlier on at these boulders, that definitely looks like quite a hard boulder. That's number 3 for the men. Natalie Barry out on her third boulder now. We should see some good progress by Natalie on this block. Seems to be climbing quite well this morning.
And we've got Tatsuki Sato out on men's problem 1. Tatsuki is from Tokyo, Japan, studying in the UK. Made a very impressive second go of one of the harder problems yesterday in the qualifiers.
Yeah, he absolutely crushed one of the harder problems and then struggled a little bit on one of the easier ones, but he still got through to the semi-final, so got to be in it to win it.
That's looking really strong on women's boulder 3 here. It's looking very good for a top. Very static as always, very in control. Come on, Nat. She just needs to finish off by matching that hold. Very slopey. She's using her toe just to hold her in there, and she's done it. It's a good top there by Natalie Barry. And Gracie Martin topping out as well. It's a double whammy.
Yeah, it's good for Gracie having struggled on that first boulder. Top on the second.
Tatsuki Sato is still struggling to start men's problem 1. And we've got Jonathan Partridge on men's problem 3 now.
It's interesting seeing John on this. When I had a look at that boulder, I actually thought the start move was quite easy.
Oh, really?
Just watching John there, he's really struggling to get on board that first move. The arete and the thumb's on an untextured panel, and the fingers are on some texture on the volume. The brush chap has just been trying to clean it a little bit for John there.
It looked like once Jake Collins got established on that problem, that he definitely did a lot better. So hopefully if Jonathan can get through that first couple of moves, then he can be within a shout of doing it.
I think Tatsuki with a few more goes will probably do this jump. Getting quite close now.
It's always a case with these dynamic coordination moves. It takes a few goes just to kind of get into the rhythm of it, get the feel for the move, and then it's much easier once you know what you're doing.
And I think what we'll see is as we go up the qualification, up the field, to the more experienced competitors, they will be doing that jump on their first go. They'll nail it straight away. A little bit more experience, just go for it.
And I think that'll be the difference between the finalists.
This is a great block because I think when you actually do it, it probably doesn't feel very hard.
Exactly.
But it will split the field.
Yeah.
It's a safe place for the setters to go. Over on the far left-hand side, you can just see there on the left-hand side of the screen, Zoe Peterman is struggling to start the boulder. Zoe, one of the shorter climbers, I think, in the semi-final in the ladies' field. Back with John.
Still struggling, Jonathan Partridge there to start that boulder problem 3 in the men's. Peterman's now trying to get that first move on problem 1, women's. Not quite making it. But Jonathan Partridge's always got a smile on his face. He's always having a good time out there, isn't he?
I know, I'm surprised he actually stopped competing for a while because he does really enjoy it. I mean, he enjoys the scene, he enjoys the challenge. He just loves it. Zoe going well now on the left-hand side. She's managed to establish herself on the boulder.
She's got 48 seconds left on this, so she needs to make this attempt count, especially as it took her so long to get established. But she's got that first handhold out there right, and now she needs to just get that zone. That puts her in a good place. And we saw from the other competitors, once they got the zone, they got the top.
Good work from Zoe this. Yeah, you can see how the pace of these boulders vary. She's got 22 seconds on the clock. This is quite a slow boulder, but I think she's actually going to do it. Bar a slip. That's one hand on the top, 2 hand. That's great work from Zoe. Kept her head together while she really struggled with that start move. Took a long time to get off the ground and actually establish herself on the boulder, but she's got the top. That's very important. Moving on.
Oren Collier on men's problem 3. I'm really excited to see Oren on this, actually. I think he has a really good chance of getting top of this one. He's a strong climber, strong competitor, and he's had a couple of tops already, so he'll be feeling the flow now.
Yeah, well, he'll be quite excited after that last top. It's the first top we've seen on men's number 2, so he will be gunning for it now on this block 3. Over on the left-hand side, we've got Pippa Watkin.
That's on her flash go as well, so she's doing well now. Pippa Watkin is a local. She's from Sheffield, and she was second in the Junior British Bouldering Championships recently and the Scottish Youth Bouldering Championships. She's an experienced competitor. Oh, that was so close.
That was really good progress, and I've seen many people fall off at that point. This is our first view of Mr. Aidan Roberts, probably one of the stronger climbers in this field. He's very, very, very good on the crimp, but he seems to be climbing quite well on these more compy style problems that we've got here in Sheffield. He's nailed that jump. And easy to the top. That's a flash from Aidan Roberts.
He'll be happy with that one. It's a good start.
Aidan's just come back from the US, having climbed some very, very hard boulders, 8B plus. First ascent as well of a boulder that he gave 8C, I think.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Maybe around 8C. Maybe he thinks it will come down a grade, but we shall see.
Aaron really struggling with that start, same as Jonathan Partridge was.
I had a look at that right hand that he was going into. It's pretty poor, actually.
Yes.
It's pretty shocking. Obviously, quite brutal on that shoulder as well, and she do get hold of it.
Pippa Watkin coming close to a top there. And that's a brilliant top there by Pippa Watkin. Should be happy with that. That was only her second attempt at the climbs. That puts her in a good position.
It's good to see Pippa in this senior semi-final here in Sheffield. She was second a few weeks ago at the junior BBC down in London. She's obviously climbing quite well. Like I said before, these youngsters just seem to get better and better and better.
Sam Butterworth attempting the dyno.
Dyno with the leg kick. We've seen the jump done two ways. John Partridge went to where Sam's foot is with his hands, and I think he got stuck. Didn't get any further. Sam, though, making good progress. Got the zone. Now he's into the pushing corner.
Sam Butterworth, he's only 17 years old. Doesn't do a lot of outdoor climbing. In fact, he told me this morning that outdoor climbing was for weaklings. He said he did like a little bit of deep water soloing though.
Yeah, Adam Ondra's really weak. For those of you that don't know Adam Ondra, he is an utter legend. Get on Google, type it in. He has climbed the hardest route in the world on rock in Norway, in Flatanger.
Sam's looking strong for a top here. Oh, so close. He'll be gutted with that one. He's got 1 minute 30 seconds left. Maybe
When
he
we
can
saw
pull it up.
that top before by Orin, he went quite slowly to that last hold. Obviously, it's not a very good hold, that finish. And Sam committed to it and didn't quite make it.
We've got Marek Booth here. Oh, she just came off.
Down on the mat again. Still another minute on the clock.
Orange still wrestling with the start of this boulder. With a minute left, he needs to quicken the pace now and get something done here. It's a hard press. Seems to be controlling it well.
Oh, this is better.
This is looking good, yeah. Now we saw Jake Collins earlier. Once he got established on that slope, he made the next move. So Oren is now in a very similar position. He just needs to hold that hold. Didn't quite make it. That might be his attempt over. Sam's back up at this last move. Oh, his feet came off there. That's unfortunate. If he just managed to keep his feet on, maybe he would have held the move.
This is our first view of probably one of the harder boulders for the women's tour, I think. Meanwhile, Sam's back up very, very quickly. He's got 7 seconds on the clock. He needs to really commit to this and fast. Very close. It's great effort from Sam. Now he's got to sit down on the mat and rest. He's got 5 minutes to get his breath back, relax, and try and get some of that lactic acid out of his body after so many good goes on that hard boulder. Here we are with John Partridge. He is now on the last boulder in the men's tour, over on the far right hand side of the wall. First view of the slab.
This looks pretty gnarly. How do you think Jonathan's going to fare on this slabby technical style?
Well, I watched the video of John yesterday. Actually, he was doing one of the junior BBC boulders at Harrowwall in London, and he struggled on it. Actually, he struggled on it mainly because jump, or maybe the reach for Seb will be quite easy.
Oh, he's held it with one hand. That's brilliant. This is Sebastian Bush's first British bouldering championship, so he's doing a really good effort to get into the semi-finals here. Be really happy with this. I was chatting to him in isolation this morning, and he's super excited to give the best he can to the semi-finals. That was a good top there by Seb. We're back on Jonathan Partridge on the slab. Jonathan's struggling even to get any grip on that first body position. Really uncomfortable body position there.
See that right hand as well, very, very rounded undercut. The left hand up now on a pinch that's not really there. I was quite shocked at how bad that was.
And that's Tatsuki Sato, who's gone for a similar beta to Jonathan Partridge earlier, jumping out to the far right, but really struggling to get back out left. I think Jonathan managed it because he was really tall, really.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is that once one person has done the jump out to that arete and put chalk on the holds, suddenly everybody else might start following as well, because and it is classic a red herring, those two big red holds sticking out in that volume with chalk on.
Yeah. That's an impressive top there by Zoe Petermans. And Natalie, we're now seeing Natalie Barry on Women's Boulder 4. This is the first we're really seeing of Natalie on this. Looks very technical, very, very tricky.
Tatsuki going for the same method.
He looks like gravity's been turned off for him. He's just floating there. He's gone for a really similar beta to Jonathan Partridge. It's almost as if he's been watching him, but he hasn't seen him at all. He's just gone for the same beta. Managed to figure out the same way. But as you saw, you know, Tatsuki, he's much shorter than Jonathan Partridge, so he's really going to struggle to get the distance going out left. He's going to try and have to figure out if he can get established on that higher hold earlier, maybe the same way the other guys did it.
Oh, this is great progress here by Natalie. Just pushing out to that zone hold. You can see the white part of that hold has 0 friction on it. And the same with the two start holds. They are half textured and half no friction.
Gracie Martin struggling a little bit there on Women's Boulder 3. We saw Natalie Barry top it earlier.
It's always interesting with these competitions, and especially outdoor competitions. Obviously the setters have a real challenge when it comes down to conditions.
Yeah, I was talking to the route setters earlier. I was asking them if they thought that whether the weather would have had any effect on how they set the boulders. They said possibly, but more it was kind of just looking at the qualifiers, how the competitors fared in that round, and then they would adjust the difficulty of the semi-finals according to that.
So just a minute or so back, we saw Adja Remska top her first boulder there, 24-year-old, all the way from Slovenia. She's been living in Edinburgh for a little while. You know her quite well, don't you?
Yeah, I know Ida. Yeah, she's studying maths at Edinburgh University. In fact, I think she just finished a degree, in fact, with her first-class honours.
And she's still here.
Yeah. No, but Ida, she's honestly one of the most dedicated climbers I've ever met. She's training every day at the climbing centre, focusing mainly on bouldering competitions. So she's really dedicated to it.
Yeah, I mean, she's got a few good climbers to inspire her in her country. Obviously, yesterday at the Lead World Cup in Villars, we saw that Janja Gambra took her 7th straight gold in World Cup events. 6 golds to win the bouldering, and the first event of the lead season took a gold as well. Amazing to see. Back here though at the La Sportiva British Bouldering Championships, we are well into this semi-final now.
We've got Frances Bensley on Boulder 1. This is our second attempt. She's made the zone, and as we saw previously, most of the other competitors, once they got here, they managed to top it. Frances is actually a very strong climber. She's a focused boulderer. She climbs a lot outside. She's bouldered the grade of B13 or Font 8B, which, if you don't know what that is, it's extremely hard.
Yeah, Yeah, if we were to rank these climbers in pure strength alone, I think she would be at the top of the pile.
Yep, definitely.
Very close to that zone then. Pippa on her second boulder. These two moon-shaped white volumes proving a challenge.
Aaron here struggling to get up the slab. This is his third attempt. He's top 2 out of the 4 boulders. In the last one, he didn't quite make it. This one, he really wanted to top this one, I bet. Got the zone there. He's got 2 more holds, but it looks like quite a tricky finale. Interesting to see how he figures this one out.
2 very bad feet and 2 little holes here. This first one is like a
little cluster.
It's a thumb press, a little fin coming down. There's nothing on top, and it's all thumb underneath, and then the small hole next to it is like a little nose. You have to squeeze it between your thumb and your first finger.
It's a good thing that right hand looks quite good, actually. It means he can sort of like try and figure out how he's going to hold that left hand, but he can't quite make up his mind. It's often the case when you're under pressure in the bouldering competition and the hold's kind of confusing. You're not quite sure how the best way to hold it is, or how the way you hold it might change as you do the move. You might adjust your hand placement. Just like that, in fact.
Better.
Not quite.
Interesting little method, little challenge there from the route setting team.
That Pippa Watkin on boulder 2 there. She's really fighting for this one. This is her 4th attempt. It'll be really good to see if she can get this done. She's looking a bit more controlled now, and she has 1 more move, and that's a top. And that's it, a match there. That gives Pippa Watkin a top on boulder 2. She'll be really happy with that. Only almost a minute left in the clock there. And Warren Colley still attempting the slab. And that's
be a challenge for Oren to get up that slab now with only 1 minute left, and it's quite a slow bump. You can just see him starting on the right hand side of the screen. And Robin Casey trying to get herself established, still on start holds.
Gaz, are there actually any handholds on those volumes, or is it just a pure volume problem?
There's no handholds.
No. Oh, this is looking good here for Oren. Oren Colley struggling with the match there, but that was his foot that went there. Just his body position maybe a bit too close into the wall, standing too vertically on that handhold.
Yeah, you'll see some people climbing out there. They'll bring towels and foot mats. Obviously, when he gets to that final boulder, you can see there laying down the towel, cleaning his boots. It's all about the relationship between that rubber on the sole of the boot sticking on them holes. So if you're walking around on those mats and the shoes get dirty, it's not going to help.
And you'll start to see on some of the footholds, well, on all the footholds, the black rubber of the shoe building up over time. More climbers that come out, and they're pasting their boots on these small slopey footholds. The rubber will build up, and it'll get harder and harder to stand on. So the climbers that are climbing later are actually going to be it's going to be slightly harder for them, I think.
Yeah, can be. I had a look at this slab boulder on the right hand side, and the route setters had actually changed the angle of the first foothold. It was really bad.
Oh, really?
The original way was a really bad foothold. Now it's just a bad foothold.
Okay. And on the left there, we've got Catherine McDougall out on boulder 1 there.
At the bottom of the screen, you can see all the ladies on the boulders. In boulder 1, McDougall, boulder 2, Remsgar, boulder 3, Peterman, boulder 4, Martin, and same for the men. Swales, Bush, Saito, and Dunn attempting his last boulder. Great progress from Ida here.
Yeah, Ida looked pretty solid on that. It was a good second attempt there by Ida. And that Joe Swales there on boulder 1. who's got a lot of experience competing. He's been doing it since he was a junior. He's had a couple of years out of the British Bouldering Championships. And there's Gracie Martin pressing out on the sloper. She just needs to get mantled up there on that zone hold and kind of reach up for the sloper, but she didn't quite make it there. As you can see, that sloper is really poor, really bad handhold. Can't really go to it dynamically. You're going to have to get there in control.
Is boulder 2 definitely causing a lot of problems just in the start. Just been joined back in the commentary booth by Neil Gresham. What's it like out there, Neil? It seems to be hotting up a little bit.
It's pretty intense. I don't know how they climb in these temperatures. I mean, these slopers can be hard enough to use like indoors during the winter, let alone out here in the heat. They're just very accustomed to it though, aren't they?
How do you think you'd get on?
I wouldn't be able to hang on the problems long enough to find out. I mean, it's just become so specialised, hasn't it, now? I mean, we see this as a different sport to outdoor climbing, and which is the background that I come from. Even just the types of hold that they're using, they actually, you hear the competitors talking about adapting their skin, and that climbing on rock conditions your skin to a certain type of hold, and climbing indoors does the same, and the two don't really overlap.
Yeah, very true, very true. And I mean, it's very interesting when we see really high-end athletes that are able to switch between styles as well.
Yeah.
Adam Ondra being one of the classic examples. He's climbed some of the hardest routes on rock, on site and after work, yet also competes very well on what we call it plastic. And but this year he has actually started to really focus on indoor training and competitions ahead of 2020 and the Olympics.
Yeah, you can see that's really in the forefront of a lot of the climbers' minds, and I think that kind of like random ad hoc switching has always gone on, but I think now they're doing it in a very much more sort of structured and strategic way. And for example, Ondra has made a decision to sort of withdraw a little bit from his projects and his outdoor climbing in order to really focus on what's required for indoors. But I'm sure he draws to a large extent from his outdoor experience when he's climbing in comps, dealing with high pressure situations and being very focused on his own game, not worrying about others. These are all skills that I think come from being an outdoor climber.
Absolutely, such a rounded climber. And here we've got another very rounded climber on the wall.
Gracie
there
Martin. She is, She's a consistent competitor. I mean, she's been working away at comps for many years now, and I mean, Gracie's one of these athletes who can just come out, climb at her best on the day. She's even on these sort of problems where it's really tricky to find your way, to make the right decision, which way do you lean with your body, how do you hold the volume, someone like Gracie just knows what to do.
That's Gracie on the zone now, just pressing it up to this last slopey volume. Very close, hard press that. You can see that dual texture on the right hand side of the volume, so you can't turn it with the right hand. That's her last attempt though, so it'll all change. New climbers out on the mats. First boulder, our first view of the very young but very talented Nathan Whaley on his boulder one. And over on the left hand side we've got Imogen Horrocks. Imogen could do quite well at this event. She's quite a dynamic climber. We've seen her compete in some of the Ninja Warrior events and do quite well. So yeah. But as climbing is, it has a lot of variation to it, and the first boulder for the ladies is a slab. So we shall see.
Imogen has been climbing very well recently. She just bouldered her first Font 8A out of Rocklands last summer. As we all know, outdoors and indoors, very different. But she is an experienced competitor, ex-GB team member. She should be able to hold it together in this area.
Boulder 2 back with Francis. As Robbie mentioned before, this lady has bouldered 8B. She is very strong climber. Looking quite comfortable on this route at the moment, on this climb. She's also a route setter herself, so we'll probably have a very good understanding of the wrong thoughts that some of the route setters might have when they're putting these holes on the wall. They want to really challenge and confuse the climbers.
We can see Sam Butterworth struggling a little bit there on Boulder 4. That's Slab. Slab has given everyone a real test. No one's really enjoying it that much, I don't think.
Mariki Booth doing very well here. That reach she had did enable her to touch the zone. I don't think she'll have been given that by the judges. And then probably got a little bit too extended and the pressure came off that left foot and it blew off the hold. This is Aidan Roberts now. We've not seen too much progress on this boulder. This guy's got a smile on his face, always a happy chap, really gentleman to talk to. Not many crimps in this semi-final, is there, Robbie?
No, not at all. And this man is king of the crimp, as we said before. But this is a very shouldery, very physical boulder problem, and I think that actually it will suit Aidan down to the ground. I really want to see him give a really good go on this. I'm sure that he has it in him to complete it. And there's Francis there, going for boulder 2. She's making good progress on it. These small crimps, they're just very small and very slopey. These volumes also pretty bad, but they're the screw-on crimps. They just allow a little bit of an edge to get established on. That's just what she's trying to do. It's just her heel popped off there. Now we're seeing Aidan Roberts crushing it. He's looking strong.
I've seen a few climbers out on this zone hold, and this next move seems to be the one. He's going for a different technique. Left heel. Now he's got some biceps as this guy, but not big enough.
No. It's a long reach. It looks like the dynamic way of doing that move definitely gets you the reach, but then you're catching that hold with a swing, which is always going to be harder to catch or harder to hold.
So by the looks of it, with the men's set here, the first 2 boulders are relatively doable, and then the second 2 is where it really gets into the problems that are probably going to split the field and decide on our finalists for this evening's competition.
Got a minute left on the clock there, so the pressure is on for all the competitors to do their best in these last attempts. You can see
Butterworth to the zone for the first time. Not been up this far before. This is where these holds become quite bad. The hand holds quite weird. They're all upside down, and the foot holds are very bad. Really challenged to stand up and put weight through those feet.
Yeah, we saw Oren Colley slip off on that foot that he's got with his left there. This is Butterworth on the same foothold. Not quite managing to get to work. And that was Aidan Roberts there, also on men's problem 3. Just not quite making that big dynamic cross through. With 10 seconds left on the clock, this is the last moment anyone can do anything in this round.
Yeah, well, we saw Aidan there opting for that other method that we'd seen earlier on for the competitors, which is basically just going off the zone all the way up to the big slopey volume. And he got the distance, but like you said, Robbie, that is a hard volume to hold. It looks very, very slopey.
It does.
But the conditions are still playing well for the competitors. It's overcast here. There is a breeze in the park here in Devonshire Green, and it is obviously going to keep the temperatures down and work in the favour of the competitors, which is nice for a change. Last year it was very sunny and very hot, but the cloud hasn't put anybody off. We've got lots of people out there watching the competition here at Devonshire Green.
And Sato struggling again to make his first attempt on that boulder 4. He's not managed to top any of the boulders yet.
That was very fast ascent of boulder number 1 by Laura Monroe. Seen Laura in quite a few competitions down south over the last few months, competing in events like Blockfest. This is her first time at the BBC, but she is definitely climbing well.
And on men's problem 1, we've also got Ty Tewksbury as well.
Another youngster.
Crusher, yeah. He's a junior British bouldering champion, in fact.
He put that to bed really quick. 2 goes, I think it was. Zoe Peterman's really struggling with that dual text black boulder problem now. There's black volumes. Interesting sometimes with the colour changes, the black, if there's any sun on it, it just soaks up the heat and they get hotter. The lighter coloured volumes tend to stay a little bit cooler. But thankfully there's no sun on this wall. We've got a nice roof over it. Keeping the sun off and rain. But let's hope we don't get any of that.
German's struggling with that sloper there. She's taking it really slow. She doesn't want to rush this move. If you move too fast, you can just like push yourself off the climb. She's got the zone there. That's in control, so she's got that hold. But she's not established on it just yet. She didn't get across.
See, Peterman just pops up there in the green to indicate that zone that she got. The judges are on an electronic scoring system out on the mats, and they will enter the score as she reaches the zone, and you get an automatic update on the screen. So even if we miss something, you can see it. And again, Sebastian Busch jumps up in the rankings there with his zone on men's 3. That move over though now off that right hand bonus zone hold there is actually a hard move.
Yeah, nobody's managed that yet.
I think that's where we're going to see the big guns shine.
Yeah. Peterman's back on the boulder. Women's 4. She got here before. She reached the zone before. She just needs to make it work. Her foot popped off there. See these volumes? There's just nothing to them. There's a little bit of friction, but there's no specific edge to stand on. So it's just friction that they're relying on there. It's always the thing that I struggled most in bouldering competitions is just trusting your feet in these terrible footholds.
Yeah.
High stress scenario, you know.
Being super confident, I mean, that's part of the game. And you see the climbers on the international circuit that just perform and they just don't really seem to feel any pressure. Obviously they will do, but they come out and you're very confident. And to stand on a volume with no foothold on it, just trusting the force of your weight into the friction, that takes confidence.
Yes.
If you're confident, it will usually stay. If you start relaxing, wobbling and struggling, it will usually zip off.
Yeah. It's as much of a mental game as it is physical and technical, that's for sure.
It's the first time we've seen someone do this move. This is Sebastian Busch, the Italian stallion.
Yeah.
Oh, so close. That was a great performance by Sebastian there. First time we've seen somebody that high on that boulder. Cool pair of moon-shaped volumes here.
Peterman's still struggling with the iron cross on those slopers. I thought doing an iron cross was hard enough as it is. Imagine doing it on a pair of slopers. And Sato on his 11th attempt on boulder 4, and he's smiling. He's having a good time. He's only got 9 seconds left. I think he's calling that. And that is the switch over. So as you see, we've got the hold brushers out there doing their job, working hard, trying to remove as much chalk, sweat and grime from those hand and footholds to make it easier for the competitors, because the more chalk and the more sweat that builds up on the holds, the harder it is for them to get any good grip on the holds, and especially the slopey ones. And that is Imogen Horrocks now on women's boulder 2. She's making a good attempt here on her flash. Oh, and her foot just slipped there, it looked like.
We've seen a few climbers go with that method where they've taken the lower screw on with the right hand and then trying to cross the higher one, and the tops we've seen have actually been the other way around, when they've gone into the sideboard with the right hand and then come in underneath to the pinch with the left hand.
Pippa Watkin looking very solid here on women's 4. She's got 2 tops out of 3 and 2 zones. Oh, she's got 3 zones now. She's holding the zone on women's 4. Now this next hold here, competitors really need to grab it in control. If they go too dynamically, then they'll be off. So you can see she's trying to mantle up, she's trying to establish herself there. She didn't quite make it work for her. She might need to adjust her body position in future attempts to get in a bit better balance. But she'll learn from her mistakes, she'll know that now. Imogen Hark's looking like she's going to top this boulder. Yep, and that's women's 2 boulder. It's a second goal there for Imogen Hark, so that's going to be good for her there. We've got Alex Waterhouse now on boulder 1 on his second attempt.
That's very good from the very young Alex. We see a lot of emotion from him during this event, whether he's at the top and he's topping the boulders, smiling, and then when he gets to the bottom, but a little bit of a shrug of the shoulders. I think he found that quite easy. It's not easy for everybody though.
No. Alex has also got an incredible fashion sense. I believe he's brought 3 pairs of colourful shorts, one for each round.
Yeah,
of this year's
he's banking on getting in the final then, yeah?
I think he's pretty confident as Alex Waterhouse.
So at the moment on the left-hand side of the screen, you can see the leaderboard. Very early days in this semi-final. We've got Coley and Dunn at 1 and 2. Both of those climbers have topped 2 boulders each. There we go, you can see the current scores of the leaderboard, the top 6 on the screen. And the top 6 for the ladies, currently being led with 3 tops by Natalie Barry, and the most experienced competitors in this field. Nathan Whaley, he may be young, but he is very experienced in this groove with the yellow volumes. Just trying to go a bit too quick maybe up to that last yellow volume with the screw on top. Aidan Roberts now into the final stages of his semi-final round. This is very good. He's got one hand, he's got 2. Oh, I don't think he will get that for the top, and the scores haven't changed. He hasn't been given a top on that boulder. He's got 1 minute 12 seconds on the clock still, so he has plenty of time to get his mind back on the game and get back up there and nail that finish. One hand on the top hold, almost a match there, Robin.
Pippa Watkin was going for some sort of like double-handed match on the right-hand hold there, but right-hand volume, but didn't quite make it work. That was a very impressive catch there by is that Nathan Whaley on men's boulder 2. Nathan's super strong from London. Been competing for a long time now, very experienced. Look at that left hand, it's kind of palming out on that left volume. He's trying to turn it, trying to get his shoulder stabilized there so he can reach up for that next volume, but there's nothing on it but a screw on in the upper part. It just didn't quite keep the balance there to make it statically up to that last hold.
There were 2 things I could see there that the climber wasn't doing, that Nathan wasn't doing. He was standing very in on that the big red hold on the right foot. He wasn't making the groove as wide as possible. If he'd have stood further out and put the toe on, then it might have worked a little bit better.
It's that classic bridging technique, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and you see a big hold and you get a bit greedy with it and just stand all over it. Now this man, I've got some money on this man. I'd like to see him do well this weekend. Matt Valeri Christie, he has been climbing exceptionally well and improving month on month. Loves competition, he competes on a regular basis. He's a very experienced route setter now as well. Be interesting to see how he fares with the start of boulder number 1. A little bit tougher to pull on if you are a tall climber.
I think he'll like boulder number 2 though. He's on Ninja Warrior, so he likes to jump in.
Yeah, depends which way he jumps though. It goes with the double red herring down out on the arete, or the actual method. We shall see.
We've got Smith. Oh, that's Monroe on boulder 2 there.
It's amazing to see how easily Natalie Barry climbed this boulder.
Yeah.
Made it look very, very, very easy.
It just goes to show, you know, like some climbers very strong in a very particular style. I think for Natalie Barry. That was like exactly, you know, her style, up her street, small cribs, very static, controlled movements.
We just saw a moment ago Hannah Smith topping her first boulder on the left hand side.
And you got Matt there for a top there on boulder 1, 2. That was a flash.
Oh, that's put Matt into a very strong position to start with. Yeah, Matt jumps up into 8th place with that flash of the first boulder. Nathan Whaley also flashed it, Sam Butterworth flashed it, and Aidan Roberts flashed it as well. So a few flashes now on that first boulder.
Joe Swales lining up for that big last move, not quite making it. We've only seen one climber do that last move on men's 4.
Sebastian.
Off men's 3 even. Yeah, it was Sebastian.
Yeah. Sebastian, yeah, we didn't actually see him do it, we saw him up there.
Yeah.
But maybe his height, his reach worked quite well in his advances. Dropping that move from the last floor.
And we have Ty Tewksbury here, 16-year-old GB team from London, junior British bouldering champion. He had a very strong qualifiers. Oh, what happened there? Just popped off. He's had 9 attempts in this so far. It's a lot of attempts.
Yeah, that is a lot of attempts. Well, obviously it's a dynamic move, so it's going to eat up the attempts. It's a good trick from the route setter to set something that is a jump. Over on the far right hand side now we've got Sebastian Bush making very good progress on this. Sebastian's put in a very good round so far. He's up into 5th place.
He's contorting his arm round for that horrible left hand hold. Didn't quite work from there. We got Ty back on men's 2 for the dyno. The great coordination move, bringing the foot out there at the same time.
He's got that nicely dialed now, hasn't he?
Yeah. He's only got a minute left. He can make it work. He just needs to shoulder this out, get in a body position. He's got the zone there as well, so that's all good. Heel there is rocking over. He's getting all his weight to that massive foothold.
We just saw on the left hand side of the screen as well. Munro just falling off that boulder again. She just dropped out the finishing hold as well on the previous go. That is going to come back to haunt her. That's going to keep her down the rankings, dropping that last move. Back on boulder number 4, Sebastian Bush back high again. This is the move he fell off before. Doesn't seem to lose his balance. Needs to get stood up a little bit here. Coming into the undercut with the right hand.
Oh, this is looking good for Sebastian.
Oh, just
so
peeled
close.
back. That was so close.
And we've got Ida Remskar here on women's 4. She's looking solid. She's looking really good. Oh. And she would have been timed out there anyway, unfortunately. But she had a good go at that.
It's not really a boulder where you can move fast on, is it, that style? Everything's pushing, no pulling down on stuff. Everything's standing in balance. And you just can't suddenly generate some force to go for a finishing hold. And the finishing hold is not very good. Well, this is it. We've started to move into the top 6 competitors that have come through from yesterday's qualification round. This is the old man himself. Well, he's not that old really, but you know, he's been around for a long time. He's been competing in 17 British bouldering championships, and he has been a title holder in the past. Sure, he would love to lift the title here once again in Sheffield. It's Dave Barons.
I'm really excited to see how Dave does on these problems, because he's just got the most experience of anybody here in the field. It'll be interesting to see how that experience comes across in figuring out the way to climb these problems, the best way to climb them.
See Dave attempting one direction, now switch to the other. Still not actually had a go yet. That's it started. He needs to get the tap. That's it, 2 hands, 2 feet. And now his attempt is fully underway. Seen this problem flashed.
Oh, he's turning around there. He's getting his left hip into the wall. He's looking in a good body position. Whether he can get the... He's going to be further away by turning around that way. So it's going to be a longer move for him. And he's turning back around again, going for the front-on attempt.
This is how we've seen the move done most of the times.
His leg must be burning there with lactic acid as he's clenching in there.
I think you're going to have to jump for it, Dave. Too long spending on those very poor round holds at the start of that boulder. Bensley looking very good on that boulder, and then that foot just blew. Dave's probably going to take quite a bit of a breather now. You can see him heavy breathing there. He's still got 2:43 on the clock. Time to recover.
Alex Waterhouse has had 5 attempts on boulder 2 already, and still no zone there, I think.
Route setter's dream, that. Route setter's dream, that jump.
And we've got Stephen Kerr, Scotland, on men's 4. Dave planning out his second attempt on boulder 1. He got into quite a few different body positions on that first attempt, so he'll know how they feel. So I think he'll have quite a good idea of what his strategy is for the second attempt. I reckon he'll have a good chance of doing it on this go. Still looks like he's not sure though. He doesn't want to waste this attempt. He knows that every attempt on the boulder counts for something. He needs those attempts.
Francis back up where we saw her a moment ago. That left foot slipped off that volume. See her trying to wrestle with that one in front of her face, getting her arm involved, the palm back onto the palm, not quite sure what to do with it, but this right foot going up off that zone, peeled out again. 1:17, she's got enough time I think to get back up there. It's the first time we've seen the climber on the left hand side of the screen on her boulder number 1, Eugenie Lee.
Oh,
good catch out to that zone. I thought she was off then for a moment. Not seen anyone fall off this last move though, so I think she's safe now.
Yep, she got it.
Number 1 in the bag. It's always good to top that first boulder. It settles the nerves a little bit.
And Dave Barron's back on for his 3rd attempt at this. Really struggling. We've seen quite a number of climbers flash this one already, so he won't be happy with that. And Alex Waterhouse going for something a little bit different there. Feet first.
I don't know what he was going for there. He had his foot where his hands should have been, and his hands where his feet should have been.
Yeah. Well, he likes the show, doesn't he?
Yeah. He likes the challenge.
Yeah.
Make it a little bit harder. Barons is back on again. I thought this would have been right up Barons' street, but he seems to be struggling a little bit to get any momentum there.
And Alex Waterhouse back on this.
This is why Alex ended up the way he did, because he's going out to those 2 volumes onto the on the prow there with his hands. That's the end of Dave's attempt on boulder number 1. No top there for Dave. He's going to have to pull something out of the bag a little bit further down the line. Some hard boulders to come though. Now we really are moving into the stronger part of the field. Obviously the field is coming out in reverse order, and this man is a relatively well-known person in the climbing community. His nickname is Captain Cut Loose. That came from the days when he used to struggle to really keep his feet on, but he's definitely put a lot of time and effort into his footwork, so we shall see, will it stand the test of time in this semi-final here in Sheffield.
See if Louis can make this start work for him. He's wrestling with that body position. He's struggling with it too though.
Obviously the challenge for the climbers is they need to start the boulder with all 4 points touching 4 points of contact. 2 arms and 2 legs. They are marked with the stripes. They need to start that.
It's a really good flash there from Hannah Smith. She's from Glasgow. On that women's 2 boulder problem. I've seen a few flashes, but a lot of people struggling with it too.
Matt VC, that has really jumped him up the rankings with that flash of boulder at number 2. Very good performance, and we can see Captain Cutloose. Louis Parkinson has done the dyno on his 2nd attempt. He is on board the coffin. Big smile from Louis.
Yeah,
no,
the crowd loves
Louis. He's not going to do a swallow dive off there, thankfully. The mats aren't that good.
I think Louis has the biggest fan base of any competitor at this year's last Sportiva British Bouldering Championships.
He's such a character.
Yeah.
I've known Louis for a very long time. Saw him as a very young climber at the castle. Always super keen, and that is just so great to see in a climber that's come from being young to being a senior and quite experienced competitor in this world of competition, and still loves it.
We've got Catherine McDougall here on women's 4. Struggling a little bit there at the start. And Monroe here on women's 3. Ty Tewksbury just there trying men's 3 as well. That was that really hard, shouldery black problem. Ty is the junior British bouldering champion. He's only 16 years old. So he's
quite a mild-mannered, quiet climber is Ty, but you know, when he gets on that wall, he is just totally focused and can pull some hard moves out the bag. Very experienced for such a young guy. It's great to see.
Very aggressively brushing those holds at the start. I wonder if he's feeling that the conditions are not playing for him here in these slopier holds, now that there's been a few climbers on them.
Catherine McDougall making better progress this time. Pressing out to that zone hold. She secured that.
She's like really getting her fingers in the back of the volume there, trying to search out an edge.
I think she might be searching out a little screw recess there. Obviously these holds are held on the wall by screws, and sometimes there's a slightly more sweet spot where that screw is.
You think about it, that's nuts, isn't it? The fact that they're looking for a screw hole to get your fingertip on.
With approximately a hole that's maybe about 8 millimeter wide, and trying to stuff a fingertip in there and pull on it. That's pretty much how bad some of these holds are, that an 8 millimeter wide hole can actually help you get to the top.
Yeah. Oh, we've got Joe Swales here, working his way up the tech filth of men's boulder 4. Look at he's gurning his teeth there.
We've seen one top on this already by Aidan Roberts.
I think Joe has it in him to top it. He's looking solid. He's got it. He's happy with that. That'll definitely do a lot for him.
You can see that's had a big impact on his position in the leaderboard. It's jumped him straight up into 4th place. Coley leading, Roberts in 2nd, Dunn, and then Joe Swales coming in 4th place. But Matt Valeri Christie is moving up that leaderboard very fast with 2 flashes into 5th place. Over on the ladies' side of the competition, Natalie Barry still leading the field. She was an early starter. 3 boulders in the bank for her.
That's brilliant for Nat. She, didn't qualify in a strong position moving into semi-finals, but she's made the semis work for her. And we've got Alex Waterhouse now wrestling on the men's 3. This is flash go. Didn't quite make the zone though.
Barron's on the jump there, opting for what we think is the better method of the two, going out with the hands and then landing the foot. Over on the ladies now.
Eugenie Lee looks...
Eugenie Lee.
Very solid. That's a solid flash there by Eugenie.
Yeah, she made that look quite easy.
Yeah, the last person that made that look that easy was Natalie.
Yes. Yeah, Natalie did cruise that, and then we thought that was going to be an easy block then after that, and then everybody's really had a right battle on it.
Yeah, Max Milner's third attempt on boulder 2. We've got Nathan Whaley in the far right there on men's 4. Nathan's struggling a little bit on the start. Doesn't like trusting these feet, and the feet don't trust him either. They're not letting him stand on them.
If Nathan's got any chance to make it any further in this competition, he really does need to get up that slab, get a second top in the bag. But he's running up the attempts, but that's not too much of a problem, I don't think. If he gets the top, it'll put him in a better position for sure.
He's got the hold brusher out there.
You can see Nathan just outside that top 6, top left-hand corner of the screen, sitting in 7th place, out of the final positions at the moment. Tara Hayes there, just sat on the mat, taking in some fluids. She's just topped her first boulder fairly quickly.
And Imogen Horrocks struggling a little on women's 4. And here we've got Rachel Carr, Scottish climber, on women's 3. She's racking up the attempts on that one. And Nathan back on men's 4. He's a bit higher now, getting established on that horrible little cluster of holds, squeezing water out that thing with his thumb and his little fingers. He's going for a high step there. He's trying to find the balance, but doesn't quite make it work. And Alex Waterhouse looking solid on men's 3, and he's done it. That's brilliant for Alex.
Yeah, that's the first top we've seen of that boulder. That boulder has been a challenge, and early on I did say that was going to be one of the harder ones. The slab is obviously possible by a couple of climbers, and the more technical climbers will be quite comfortable on that when we get up the rankings. But that boulder number 3 is definitely going to be the hard boulder of the tour.
Rachel Carr struggling there on women's 3. She's not liking those slopers. And Imogen Horrocks looking a little bit perplexed there. They've not got a lot of time left, but definitely enough time to see it done, to get another top.
So after this rotation, we've got 3 more climbers to start their semi-final here in Sheffield at the La Sportiva British Bouldering Championships. Tara Hayes has been out and is already sat on the mat. She cruised her first boulder. Tara back from injury and back into this competition. It's great to see her here. But Imogen back on her final boulder. She's not really known for the slab love. She's going to call it a day there.
Nathan's got 20 seconds left. You can just see him running at the slab in the background there. Oh, he just didn't quite find the balance there. Don't know if he thinks he's got one more attempt left.
Oh, of course he does. Yeah, he's a true competitor. He knows what he's doing. Anything can happen.
He needs
just
to
got to push through it.
Become a speed climber then.
Not speedy enough, sadly.
It's Mr. Cutlass. I think Louis is going to like this one. It's a dynamic move. It's shouldery.
But which way do you think he's going to go? Is he going to go to the prow, or is he going to go to the preferred method?
I reckon I'm going to guess he's going to go for the preferred method. I want to see him do well in this. This is his home. This is his territory. You know, this is what he's strong on. But I honestly think that Louis could do it either way.
First time we've really seen Gwyneth in this competition. With number 44 on her best. Making good progress very quickly on boulder number 2. opting to go with the higher hold, with the way that Natalie did it, very easily, what seems like a long time ago now. That's foot blow. Laura Munro making good progress. Far right hand side of the wall.
And we've got Louis. He's reaching for that last handhold there. Got one more move. Just needs to keep it together. Oh, and he managed with the cutlass. Captain Cutlass, I guess. There he is. That's a top from Louis Parkinson on his second attempt on men's 2. He's going to be very happy with that.
Good solid result there for Louis.
And we've got Jim Pope now on Boulder 1. Jim is Mr. Biff. If you don't know what Biff is, that's Beastmaker Footless Festival. So this guy, with his feet off, incredibly strong, and with his feet on, even better.
Yeah, he's pretty consistent with the Biff competitions, and he made very, very quick progress through that boulder number 1.
That was
Turns around
casual.
fairly nonchalantly and said, "Is that what you've got to give me?" But there's a few more challenges lying ahead for Jim Pope in this competition, I'm sure.
We've got Monroe there on women's 4, still battling it out. This is her 3rd attempt. She's got the zone. She just needs to reach up for this next sloper, a bit more in control than last time, and see if she can establish herself on it.
That leaderboard on the left-hand side constantly changing. Matt VC has moved himself up into 2nd place. These are provisional scores on the screen, obviously. He moved himself up into 2nd by gaining that zone hold on the boulder we just saw him on. Still waiting for a top on that boulder, if I'm correct. Boulder 3?
On the men's.
Yeah.
It's been topped by Alex.
Oh yes,
Wow.
Alex. Oh yeah, he
Yeah.
made it look like a path. He doesn't
Yeah.
count. he cheated. He came with too many tools. One of them being too good.
Maybe it was a colourful pants. Maybe that's what he needs. What is it?
Magic trousers.
Yeah.
There's magic in them trousers. Gwyneth back on boulder 2 for the ladies.
I can't quite say it. It's like Natalie cruised this problem, and then Eugenie Lee after that cruised it as well. And I've seen lots of girls, lots of women struggling on that problem. Really struggling to get the body position right.
Come on, Matt.
This is Matt. He's looking solid.
This is looking better for Matt. He's
Yes.
got hold of that second to last slopey volume, presses out to the finishing hold. 2 hands. He'll be very, very happy with that.
And that's put him in a strong lead there. And on the leaderboard, you can see he's just taking the first place ahead of Oren Colley.
That puts him in a very good position. He has jumped to the top of the leaderboard.
On the right here, we've got Ty Tewksbury working on the slab. 30 seconds left to go. He's not got much time. You have to make this attempt work for him. Spoke too soon. Gwen is still struggling there.
Matt Valeri Christie now with 3 tops, sitting well at the top of that leaderboard. Great performance from Matt.
She does not like those holds.
Now Gwyneth really struggling with that move out onto that penultimate orange volume.
That is time.
We are now getting into the closing moments really of this semi-finals here in Sheffield at the La Sportiva British Bouldering Championships. We are into the top couple of qualifiers. On the right in the screen now we have Billy Rydell. He is Sheffield local nowadays.
Yeah.
And on the left hand side is Rosalind Fruitney from Bristol. Both young and both exceptionally talented.
It's worth mentioning Rosalind Fruitney. She's a bit of an all-rounder, like incredibly so. She's a trad climber, a sport climber, a boulderer, competition climber, and she placed second qualifying for the semi-finals with a margin of only 1 attempt between her and first place.
Yeah, she's been climbing for quite a long time now, and has also competed for Team GB on the international circuit, which is it's great to see somebody with such a rounded level of climbing. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
We always sort of mentally separate the trad climbers from the sport climbers from the competition climbers, but somebody like yourself, I mean, you're about to go out and do some big wall stuff in Europe, having just come from Malham Cove, having sent one of the hardest routes of your life. It's great to be involved in all parts of the sport. Dave Barron's there with a very solid top on that boulder on the right hand side with the dual texture wooden and black friction holds. It's a good effort, Dave. He'll be happy with that, but he's still outside that last 6 climbers. He will need to put down a good result on that last boulder, on that slab, and get the top if he's going to have any chance to climb again this afternoon.
Saw Max Milne there looking very pensive, very focused, concentrated, looking at men's problem 2. He's had 1 attempt already. Max is one of these climbers who I've known since he was about 8 years old, and I don't think I've ever met anyone more naturally talented for more specifically competition climbing. Eugenie Lee on problem 3. She's almost at the top there. Is very close. Oh!
Now you can see that zone hold that she just fell from looks extremely slopey. It's the second to last hold. Quite high for a zone. Jim Pope on boulder number 2. He's in the groove. One of the shorter climbers here. This actually suits him maybe getting into that corner, but couldn't quite make the reach to the screw on top of that second yellow volume. Sorry, actually, that was not Jim. It was Milne. The screen I'm looking at has got a bit of sun on it now. We'll just have to move that over. A little bit easier to see.
Alex.
It's hard not to recognise this guy, though. It's the shorts that give it away.
I was just going to say the same
Alex
thing.
Waterhouse.
Spot my mile off.
Alex is a very, very rounded climber. He's very good on a lot of styles.
Yes.
Sport climbing, bouldering. He's had some very good competition results in the US as well, where he's been studying.
He's been smashing the US circuit, and last year in Thailand he climbed 8C+. Very emotional. Wears his heart on his sleeve, he does. Wee bit of a scream there coming off.
Well, he needs to gather his thoughts and pull himself together because he still has 1 minute 15 on the clock.
We've got Rachel Carr here on women's 4. Rachel is from Scotland, but she's living in Sheffield these days. She's had 1 top so far. She's got the bonus here. She went a bit too dynamically for that sloper. Don't think she was ever going to hold it, going to it that aggressively. And another fellow Scot here, Max Milne, who's gone for the crazy long leap outright.
Max the future.
Max the future, exactly.
Made it very easy back onto that left-hand red volume. He's already been here before.
He is styling this. He's got that right-hand crimp there. I think for pure strength, Max is probably, I would say, one of the strongest competitors in the men's category. Maybe Aidan Roberts, you know, and him similar level of strength.
Yeah, you could see his strength there as he went out to that finishing hold. Quite dynamically, but in the shoulders, the strength across that shoulders in that iron cross position.
Yep, and
amazing.
You saw the way his feet just like, his legs just stopped swing dead. His core strength is unbelievable. And we've got Alex struggling on the slab. Usually Alex is a bit of a technician on the slabs. He's very, very good on the slabs. He's not liking that one though.
This is number 74. This is Jim Pope. Jim seems like he's been around forever. Known Jim from a very young climber when he began climbing down in London at the Castle Climbing Centre, and now he is a very experienced, rounded climber. He competes to a high level in boulders. He competes on the international circuit and the lead events as well.
And he also does a lot of sport and a lot of trad and a lot of bouldering. You know, he manages to.
Yeah, he really does manage to mix it up. Ever since he moved up to Sheffield and started studying here again as well, he's been out on the gritstone a lot, and there's a really good video online of him breaking a pebble.
On appointment with death.
On appointment with death, yes.
Oof. The scariest thing I've ever seen, I think.
Yeah, put that into Google and that will scare the living daylights out of you, but at the same time it will show you how strong he actually is.
Oh, is that Nathan Phillips out? That's the first we've seen from Nathan Phillips. He qualified in first place. Nathan, honestly, he's one of the best climbers, if not the best climber to watch in this event. He is cool as a cucumber. He is the Roger Federer of the British bouldering scene, quiet and collected, and just quietly smashes everything to bits.
Yeah, I've seen Nathan in the scene for a long time now. When I used to still compete on the international circuit, he was just coming into the British team, and at that point he had super strong fingers but didn't really have it in the arms, and now he is a very, very rounded climber. And obviously last year he was 6th in the Innsbruck World Championships, made it into the final, put on a very, very good show for Team GB out there.
I've got Hannah Smith getting a little bit upset there in women's 4. She's had 2 tops so far. I think she'll want to get this this 4th boulder, this 3rd top for her, if she can make it work for her. Jim proving that he is the Mr. Biff, Mr. Footless here, looking very solid, casually chalking up on what is a very bad hold, shouldering it out, reaching up for that terrible little crimp that we saw Max crush earlier. He just needs to get his left foot out a bit, and this last move has proven difficult for quite a few climbers, but I think for Jim, he's strong enough to handle it.
Wow.
And he
really
did.
Did show the strength in his shoulders there with his technique to get out there, found that little button foothold that was hidden underneath the red volume, made the last move,
I think
bumped himself up the leaderboard.
I think now we're seeing the difference between who's going to be in the finals and who's not, because the likes of Jim Pope, the ease of which he did that, likewise with Max Milne, and these guys, just different class.
Absolutely there, and we can see people jumping up the leaderboard now. This is looking good. Couldn't quite hold that sloper, Hannah Smith. First time we've seen Louis on this boulder at the far right hand side of the wall. His penultimate boulder for Louis. Thought this one would be up his street, but he's had quite a few goes now. Another 1 minute 25 on the clock. Louis walks forward, wipes those boots clean, pulls on, up into this shoulder. Hard crossover. Little pounce out to the zone now. And then this seems to be the move. 2 methods, jump or the heel. Louis opted for the heel. Can
Louis
he make
has
the
the shoulders
distance?
for this.
Back down on the mat again.
50 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah.
That was Rosalind over on the left hand side of the wall.
Hannah Smith looking good on the women's 4. Come on, Hannah. Come on, Hannah.
Women's 4 is definitely proving a challenge for the ladies, but this is looking good for Hannah Smith. Wow, the holds must be really bad on that move.
Hannah Smith needed to top that for coming second, ideally, but she's only got 17 seconds left. I think she's going to give that a miss. Matt struggling with the slab there.
We are coming into the closing stages now, and we have all the competitors out on the mat. We have seen Nathan Phillips already.
Nathan made a casual flash of that men's boulder 1. Thinking men's boulder 2. I think he'll probably flash that as well.
And the lady we haven't seen yet is the highest qualifier. The female qualification round from yesterday, it's Holly Tootill. She did actually flash her first boulder. She's made a strong start already. Rosalind Fruitney on boulder number 2 here. I think she should get to the top of this. This is a little bit more her style. Much in the, she's a climber in the style of Natalie. Technical, thinking, precise.
Yeah. You know, I think the competitors who did the best on this move really got their body weight to the right before coming into that little screw up, you know? I think the ones who struggled were trying to come into it too early. That's good. A good flash there by Rosalind. We've got the Don, Dave Barons on the right there on men's 4, working on the slab, still to pull on.
Barons really does need a top on this slab. He's currently out of the rankings for the final. I'm sure he really will want to be back again this afternoon to climb, but not at the moment. Struggling to make that second movement on the slab. He's got plenty of time still, 3 minutes on the clock. Billy Rydell taking a breather there.
And women's 4 there, we've got Eugenie Lee figuring it out. Not sure what to do with her right hand there. She knows she needs to mantle up into that groove. Just needs to get into position where she can easily reach up for that next sloper, which is not a very easy thing to do. But she has done it. She's got that. She's lowering her body onto that because it's always easier to hold these bad slopers from below. You don't want to pull too much onto them. She's trying to find a better place to grab it, but there isn't. You can see where the chalk is, and that is the best place to grab that sloper. We've got Billy Rydell on the top of boulder 2 here.
This is looking better from Billy. Once you've got the foot out, it seems to be the way. Can he hold the cross? Iron cross there. Settled.
Oh, he's struggling to match it. There, he's got it. You see, Billy actually managed to keep his foot on, whereas both Jim Pope and Max Millen did a wee cut loose.
Lost the foot and then put it back on. But they looked a little bit stronger on that boulder. Billy seemed to struggle there with the match, but maybe he was just playing to the crowd. Better progress for Dave now on his final boulder. That has just jumped him straight up into 4th place. Provisional results on the left-hand side of the screen. Means that we, in 4th place, if he stays there, will be climbing again this afternoon in the final.
Top on this problem will definitely push him up. If Dave tops his block, pushes him up into 2nd place.
That really does show Dave's experience in competition. Not being able to do that first boulder and coming out and doing the 4th boulder, putting him into a very strong position now in 2nd place. Good performance there.
That's the 1 minute buzzer there. Eugenie Lee high on boulder 4. She's looking for that same body position she was in earlier, but I think she'll go straight for the chalked up area. She's still trying to figure out how to hold that thing. It's obviously not very good. I think she wants to try and get her right foot up onto that boulder, onto that volume that she's palming off. She looks like she wants to get a knee onto it.
Very, very good ascent there from Max on that boulder. He struggled on that last move on the previous go, and he's gone out. It's a big move that for Max, because he's quite a short climber compared with Matt BC when he did that. Good effort there from Max. Great to see that. Such a strong young climber coming through so well in the last Sportiva British Bouldering Championships here in Sheffield. Hopefully we'll see him again this afternoon in the final.
It's actually really cool to see Max doing so well on these competition style boulders, because his facilities in Aberdeen aren't very good. He doesn't really have any of this to work on, which is why he spends so much time travelling between London and Sheffield to train on these boulders, on the style of setting that you get in competitions.
Now Louis knows that he has had problems on this style of boulder before, on the slab, but he has put a lot of effort into it, focusing on his slab technique, so we shall see. He was in a competition a few weeks ago down in London, and he did manage to battle through a slab that I'd set for him. Took him quite a few goes, but he persevered and got to the top. That's sometimes what it takes.
And we've seen Gwyneth Utley in the background there, working on women's 4, Louis Parkinson on slab, and Jen Wood just a bit further along on women's 3. That's Jim Pope on men's 3, looking at that crazy sideways dynamic move, and in an incredible show of strength.
How
he's
did he
managed to
hold that? I
that.
have no idea. Nobody has held that move that way yet.
And just proves
Another
Jim,
big move now.
he's in another level there.
Yes, come on, Jim
He
Pope.
knows it. He's happy with that. Jim Pope, originally from London and now resides in Sheffield. A lot of people in the crowd watching will know Jim really well.
Nathan Phillips squeezing into that corner.
This is a good view of our 2 top qualifiers from yesterday's qualification round. Holly Tootill making good progress on the left, and Nathan Phillips as well on the right hand side of the screen. One more move for both of these climbers. Nathan one hand,
Very
Holly one
solid.
hand. Who's the first to match? Nathan and Holly both match the top of their second boulder.
That was a second go from Nathan and a flash from Holly Tootill there.
Quite cool to see Holly get through all these boulders with flashes. It would be nice for not to fall off this weekend. Who knows?
That would be incredible.
What sort of level is she at? She's still quite young, so she's improving all the time. Up to now, it looks like the Roussettes have done an amazing job
It's
on
definitely
these
splitting
boulders.
them,
There is
sure.
definitely a lot of tops, there's a lot of fails, and there is a lot of split in the scoring. So yeah, I think the Roussettes will be pretty happy with this up to now.
We're seeing here that for Gwyneth Utley, if she tops this block, she has 4 attempts remaining. She'll get 6th place.
Louis over on the right hand side, making his another attempt on the slab. Not doing too well there. He's had 4 attempts already. Jem Wood, boulder number 3. Gwyneth, boulder number 4.
What would you say about Louis on this boulder? What do you think his chances are?
Well, I'd like to say he can do it. He perseveres.
Yeah.
He just sticks with it and keeps trying and eats away at these things and somehow manages to get to the top of them. But he's now running out of time. 1:31 left on the clock as we look over on the left-hand side of the screen to Jem Wood, who's struggling with those big blue fiberglass volumes.
And Jen Wood is the local Sheffield lass. She's definitely one of the most experienced climbers here. She's been doing comps for a number of years.
Jen's currently sitting outside of the leaderboard with 2 tops, but if she does manage to top another boulder, she will leapfrog up into the final positions. So she needs to keep her head up, keep focused, keep trying hard.
Louis back on the slab. Started on it there. That left hand, it looks horrible now. Really chalky and really greasy. He just slipped off it.
There's actually nothing on top of that hold. It is complete slope. It's really
It's
a
just
bit of friction on top. You can see where the fingerprints are and a thumb underneath.
Mr. Cutlass is not enjoying
He
this.
needs to get a brush involved on this hold if he's going to have a chance. And he's not. He's going back in. Not got enough time on the clock,
Only 10
but he's still
seconds.
giving it another go.
10 seconds left. Come on, Gwyneth.
Gwyneth as well on the left-hand side. She's opting to keep the foot low. We've seen a few foot blows, and there it goes. Back on the mat again. That's her British Bouldering Championships over with for now.
And we now got Max Milne on the slab on the right. This will be really interesting to see. Max is a phenomenally strong climber, very upper body focused, but he's also a bit of a technician. It'll be good to see him on the slab and see how he gets on with it. I'd like to see a flash from Max in this one.
So on the left-hand side, we've got Billy Rydell and Rosalind Fruitney. They were second placed coming into this semi-final, the last Sportiva British Bouldering Championships here in Sheffield. Qualification yesterday.
Billy Rydell making that zone on boulder 3 there. He's got the heel hook, he's locking it out, and he's made the crossover.
This is looking good for Billy. Billy's actually one of the taller climbers in the field.
He just needs a shoulder out to get that last hold. He's looking solid. He's
That's a solid performance from Billy. He will be very pleased with that.
Now the flash. That sent him straight to the top of the leaderboard.
I think if we'd asked Billy where he was going to end up this morning, he probably wouldn't have said there.
Yeah.
Yeah, making absolute maximum use of his height there, being able to maintain that left heel.
And Billy Rydell's actually guaranteed to get into the final now with that performance. So we'll definitely be seeing him in the final later on.
Yeah, it's a good effort. Now, does he know that? Is he going to play a little bit tactical now? I'm sure he won't do as a competitor.
No,
he wants to climb these boulders.
Yes.
He's a climber. Climber first, competitor second.
Exactly.
Ross struggling with that big move out into that shoulder. She's got a bit of time still.
Giving those holds a good brush. By now, those slopers will be getting pretty grimy.
Yeah, well, they're picking up a lot of chalk. Those holds, as I said before, they're quite fine-grained, that set of holds, so they get dirty and packed full of chalk quite quickly.
Tara's quite a bit of injuries over the last year or two, hasn't she? She's, I think this is her sort of comeback into the bouldering competitions.
Yeah, well, she sort of got her eye in a little bit by doing some climbing in Europe while she was out with her partner Nathan Phillips, and they make probably one of the UK's strongest couples at the moment.
Power couple.
Power couple. And she climbed Fontaine while she was in Switzerland on her holiday, and quite a few other hard boulders as well. So she's definitely over the injuries now, and it's really good to see her back in the scene and performing well.
If Tara Hayes can top this block, that'll push her into second place. Which will definitely be a good position for her for the remaining of the competition. But we've seen a lot of girls, a lot of women struggling with this problem, getting matched on that sloper above her. She's going for something a little bit different here. I don't think we've seen anyone try this before. Most of the women have been putting their left leg high up on that hold where her left hand was and reaching up from there. You can see on the right there, Max Milne still really struggling on the slab. He is a powerhouse, but on slabs, you can't get away with just having the guns. You've got to be able to have the technique as well to get up that slab. He's just not trusting his feet. He's looking frustrated with that one. And as a competitor who's had 3 tops already, this will be really frustrating him. He's only got 1 minute, 10 seconds left on the clock. There's still plenty of time to get up it, but he's not showing much promise so far. Something drastic is going to have to change to get him up this.
Well, looking on the leaderboard on the left-hand side, we've got Parkinson sitting outside of that final position there. He is not going to progress any further. Obviously, Louis is out of this last Sportiva British Bouldering Championships, unable to make the final here in Sheffield. Max still in with a shout though, as is Rosalind Fruitney. She's not showing on that leaderboard yet, but she has still got a lot of boulders to climb on.
Tara Hayes setting herself up for this next sloper. If she can top this, she'll be in second place. It doesn't look like that's going to happen. She's given up. 15 seconds left. There's no time left for her to do this. Max is really gunning for it. 7 seconds left on the clock. He was going to try something wild there, but it didn't quite work for him.
Tara now has quite a long wait to see if she can cling on to that 6th place position and climb again this afternoon. Quite a stressful time now this for a lot of the competitors that are right on the cut of that final as they wait for the rest of the climbers out on the mat now. We're down to the last few competitors.
Got Jim Pope there on the right on the slab, and Jen Wood on boulder 4 on the black slopers. Seen Jen Wood pull out boulders up the bag, definitely, previous competitions. And I think she definitely has a skill set to get up this one. Jim's a total all-rounder, so the slab really should be very manageable for him. Impressive flash there by Nathan Phillips. Jim Pope high on the slab. This is still his flash attempt. He's looking very comfortable there.
He looks very happy there. This scoring system we've got on the left-hand side of the screen is so useful. You can see that Jim has jumped to the top of the leaderboard there, and Nathan Phillips also moved up into third place as well. Nathan with one more boulder to climb. Jim looking very solid here though. Oh, curse of the commentator.
Why did you have to say that, guys?
Sorry, Jim. Sorry, my fault. I'll hold my hands up to that one. Yeah, okay. Well, you just brush those holes.
Get out there and apologise. So Jim Pope is actually guaranteed a third place, so he's definitely in the finals, no matter what he does here. But he's a solid competitor, and he'll want to get to the top of this boulder prop, no doubt.
Now we've not seen so much of this lady who's just about to pull on this blue volume boulder, Holly Tootill, the top qualifier into this final from yesterday's qualification. She's really struggling now with those volumes. I think the last few good climbers have struggled on that blue volume problem, maybe struggling with the friction, maybe too much chalk on those holds now after we've seen 20 competitors attempt that boulder. But there's a long way to go yet for Holly.
You can see Jen Wood here in women's 4, trying to figure it out. She's only on her second attempt. She's just trying to take her time. You can't rush this problem too much. Make a mistake and you slip off. Exactly like that one. Holly's still struggling with that move. She's definitely one of the shorter competitors. So these are big shouldery moves, She's only a little 16-year-old
Still very
girl.
young.
Yeah.
She's come on so well. And she looks like a consummate professional out there on the mat.
After watching Jim casually stroll up the slab before and almost top it, he's now struggling again on the start. We know already that Jim is guaranteed a place in the final, but we do want to see him top this problem.
Yeah, it would be really good to see Jim to the top, and Jen as well. Jen over on the left-hand side, local girl climbing in front of her home crowd. She absolutely loves competing. She's very, very experienced now. Let's see if she can bring this experience to the climbing wall and work out how to get this next volume. Now she's opting for the low foot there.
I think the most solid I've seen people on that is getting their left foot high, getting squeezed up with the right hand mantling down, kind of getting your shoulders and your body close into the wall, all your weight through your feet, and then reaching up for the sloper.
Yeah, from this angle, looking at the black volume to the left, you can see that higher volume is actually slightly better than the low one, and that's why, like Robbie, you're saying, put that left foot higher and it'll stay there. It's good work again from Jim, but still struggling to make a start on that last boulder. That initial section of that last slab problem for the men does look very, very awkward.
Men 4 hasn't had any flashes. It's one of those boulder problems. It just takes time to figure out the body positions to have any chance.
So that was the men's 4 was set by the Enigma Rob, the man who can.
Well, Billy Rydell, actually, he's a bit of a technician as well. I think he can quite often surprise us. He was the only person to top the hardest boulder problem in the qualifiers very impressive ascent actually by him. So I think he can get to the top of this one.
Be interesting to see if the his height helps a little bit on this. Got established quite well on this first move into the zone. Quite solid.
Very casual. As I said before, this problem hasn't had any flashes, but Billy's one of those climbers who I think can make it happen.
So we now have only 4 competitors left in this semi-final round. We see 2 on the wall now. Billy Rydell back on the mat.
We now know as well.
It's a Rosalind Fruit-Neat.
We now know as well that Billy Rydell is guaranteed second place. No matter what happens, he's guaranteed that second place position.
Obviously, so Billy doesn't know that.
He doesn't know that.
The competitors aren't able to see the rankings like we can, and like all the crowd watching in Devonshire Green in Sheffield today. They know what's happening, but he doesn't. So he's still questing on. He's thinking he needs to top this boulder. He wants to top this boulder.
It's actually pretty impressive. You can see he's flashed 2 boulder problems and another in his second attempt. He's going for another attempt on boulder 4 on the slab, giving his feet a little bit of a wipe on the towel, because all that dust and chalk from the bouldering mats gets on your shoes and it causes you to slip off much more easily. We've got Rosalind Fruit-Neat here on problem 4 in the women's. She's not liking this at all.
No, she really needs to make some progress on that last boulder. But Billy is making progress up this wall at the moment as we speak. He is on his 4th boulder, looking very solid into this very strange undercut, very contorted there. I wouldn't like to really try and describe what he just did then, but it worked. That's one hand on the finishing hold. Oh, and the foot goes.
So close.
A massive sigh from the crowd here at Devonshire Green. Billy puffs his cheeks out. Doesn't believe what has just happened. He's back on the mat.
Guys, I'm feeling that one. Oh, gutted.
The whole of Sheffield felt that one. Hopefully he's not done any damage to his fingers there. He was just checking his skin. I'm sure the skin is starting to suffer a little bit now. Done a lot of climbing yesterday and today.
Rosalind getting a little bit contorted there up in that little squeezy space between those volumes, but she's still not finding it that easy there. As I said before, Rosalind Fruit-Neat, she's definitely a bit of an all-rounder. Trad climber, sport climber, boulderer, competition climber. She's been on the competition scene for quite a number of years. Say generally I've noticed her more in the lead comps, but she competed in the British Bouldering Championships last year. She was in the finals. Here she is in the semi-finals. I think she'll want to be getting to the finals again, and she'll definitely give it a good shot. Billy back on the slab, back into the horrible cluster of holds with his left hand, getting his left foot pasted on that foothold, but it didn't quite make it work.
Well, we were focused there on Billy on the right-hand side, trying to get to the top. Rosalind Fruit-Neat has bumped herself up the rankings and put herself currently into preliminary 2nd place for Rosalind by getting the zone. That is how important these zones can be. She won't know that. She'll still keep battling. She's got 27 seconds on the clock. She wants to get to the top of this boulder. She probably thinks it's very crucial. Billy again on his last attempt. Is this going to happen? Come on, Billy.
Oh, he must be hating that foothold.
He's either going to hate his foothold or he's going to hate his boots.
Yeah.
Or probably both. So we have 2 more climbers left. 2 of the strongest competitors here this weekend. Nathan Phillips, World Championship final in Innsbruck last year. He was in 6th place. He's definitely no punter. He's Ollie Tutil, who was the highest qualifier from yesterday's event. She did 5 boulders in 5 attempts. She did not fall off yesterday. Today has been a different story though for her. She's currently sitting down in 10th place. And as only one person has done 3 boulders, that's Natalie Barry at the top of the leaderboard. If Holly can pull something out of the bag on this last boulder, she will launch herself up that leaderboard and into a final position. Both climbers are underway now. 4 minutes remaining of this semi-final here in Sheffield at the last Sportiva British Bouldering Championships.
Nathan Phillips looking just on the edge there.
What was he doing with that left hand? Palming that hold. That was just unbelievable. What did he do?
It's magic. It's magic, guys.
Magic skin.
It's a bit of the Phillips magic there.
Magic skin.
He's got a strong name, I can say that.
Oh, you come out with some random things sometimes. Right then, come on Nathan Phillips. We've got another Phillips here rooting for you.
This might be a flash from Nathan Phillips, the first flash of this boulder prom in the competition. He's got it. That is
Brilliant
incredible.
Flash there. It's a good way to finish the semi-final for Nathan Phillips. Holly Tootle also moving up the leaderboard now. She's got the zone. On to the next hole, and that left foot just slips and dumps her back on the mat. But there is plenty of time for her to get back up to her high point and hopefully progress to that finishing hole. This has been a very challenging boulder for the ladies, this boulder number 4 here in Sheffield.
Nobody's actually topped it yet.
It would be really, really good to see Holly
That would
at
be
the top of this boulder. Would be a nice
brilliant
finish
to the semi-finals, I would say. She's currently sitting in a very strong 2nd place, just behind Natalie Barry, which means she's secured herself a position in the finals. She doesn't know that yet, obviously, but she'll want to get to the top of this boulder prom, and you know, we want to see her get to the top of this too, because with no tops yet, I want to see someone top it.
Come on, Holly.
All the spectators getting behind Holly now as she makes probably one of her final few attempts on this boulder. Let's see if she actually manages to get to the top. She's looking good this time. That foot has stayed on that volume. This hasn't been done yet, this boulder. Is this it?
Yes!
Oh,
One hand,
what an incredible top!
What an absolutely incredible finish to this semi-finals here at the last Sportiva British Bouldering Championships in Sheffield. The crowd has gone wild over her shoulders. That was absolutely brilliant. She was slow to get out of the blocks at the start of this semi-final, but wow, what a finish there, Robbie.
Very exciting. I knew she had it in her.
She's definitely very focused now. Her focus will switch from this semi-final into final mode. She will know she's managed to do enough to get herself into that final. Well, that's been a brilliant semi-final this morning here in Sheffield. We've got a long way to go. We've still got the finals coming this afternoon. In the meantime, the route setters are already underway and they are taking the holds off the wall, and they will reset some challenging final boulders.
It's going to be a quick turnaround, isn't it?
It's going to be a quick turnaround, yeah. That's why they're already underway. You can maybe hear some of the drills going in the background, and you can see the crowd just starting to disperse now. They will head off,
Get some
out
lunch.
in Sheffield, get some lunch. We need a packed lunch as well, don't we, Robbie,
Yeah.
as well?
And we can see here on the leaderboard, we've got Nathan Phillips in a very strong 1st position, followed by Billy Rydell in the 2nd place. Missing out just on one top there, separating Nathan and Billy. Followed 3rd place by Jim Pope, again 3 tops. Matt Varela Christie, Dave Barons, the Don in 5th place, Max Milne in 6th place, sneaking there into the final. And the rest of the guys just missing out. And in the girls, In the women's, we've got Natalie Barry in first place, 3 tops out of 4, followed by Holly Tutul, who made that a very impressive send off the final 4th boulder problem, followed by Rosalind Fruitney, 2 boulders topped out of 4, Jen Wood and Hannah Smith, also 2 boulders out of 4, and Imogen Horrocks, 2 boulders out of 4 for the finals.
Well, thanks very much for that, Robbie. It looks like we are going to be in for a very good and exciting final this afternoon. The conditions have stayed very good for the competitors here in Sheffield. The temperatures are quite low and the breeze has continued to blow. For the moment the sun isn't shining, but we still have a very big crowd here, all gone off to enjoy a little bit of food now during the break. I think for myself, I'm going for Billy Rydell and Natalie Barry to lift the title here. It would be nice for Billy to pull one out of the bag over Nathan. So the climbers now have a few hours to rest before competing again. You can join us again at 5:20 for the finals of the last Sportiva British Bouldering Championships. Thank you very much for watching. We will see you this afternoon.